Ever get that feeling when you're trying to level up in life?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe hitting the gym more, starting that project you always wanted to.
Yeah.
Even just like getting more organized.
Yeah, yeah. Trying to make those positive changes.
Exactly. And it feels like the universe, or maybe just, the people around you, are sort of subtly pushing back.
Oh, definitely. Like you're swimming against this gentle but persistent current.
Yes, that's it. It's a really common thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty frustrating.
It really is. You're putting in the effort, feeling motivated, and then bam, these unexpected headwinds.
So today, we're not going to dive into some super complex theory. Instead, we're looking somewhere maybe a bit surprising.
Okay.
We're going to look at, well, the stripes on a zebra.
A zebra. Interesting. How does that connect?
Well, the idea is it can help us understand why this pushback happens and maybe what we can actually do about it.
Right. So zebra stripes, the obvious answer, I guess, is camouflage. Blend into the grass.
That's what you'd think, isn't it? The
Yeah, yeah.
classic nature show explanation.
Yeah.
But if you really picture the African savanna, those black and white stripes against like gold and yellow grass,
Yeah.
they don't exactly scream invisible.
Good point. Lions, for instance. They blend in way better, much more subtle.
Exactly. So if it's not mainly about hiding from lions, as individuals at least, what else could those patterns be for?
Well, this is where it gets kind of fascinating. The stripes seem really important when zebras are, together in a herd.
Okay, yeah. Picture a whole bunch of them. It's just a mess of black and white lines.
That's the key. All those stripes moving together, it creates this visual disruption. It makes it really hard for a predator, like a lion, to single out and focus on just one zebra.
Ah, so it's like a big, confusing optical illusion for the hunter?
Pretty much safety in numbers, but through, visual confusion.
Okay, interesting. Stripes for herd confusion, not just individual hiding. So how does that relate back to us feeling those headwinds when we try to, improve ourselves?
Okay, so imagine someone went out and painted one of those zebras, put a big bright mark on it, say a splash of red paint on its side.
Right. It would stand out immediately from the blur.
Exactly. Suddenly, that zebra isn't just another stripe. It's different. It becomes an easy target.
Ah, okay, I see where you're going.
And in a way, when we make ourselves too visibly different, maybe too soon, we can kind of become targets too. Which brings us to this idea, the bucket of crabs
Oh,
mentality.
yeah, I've heard of that one. Like you have a bucket full of crabs,
Uh-huh.
and one starts to climb out, heading for freedom.
And what happens? The other crabs, they just pull it right back down. And it's
Right.
not always like malicious intent necessarily. It's just
Mhm.
instinct. Nobody wants to be left behind at the bottom.
And you definitely see echoes of that with people, don't you?
Absolutely.
Like someone starts making real progress. Maybe they're losing weight, looking great, or they launch a side hustle that takes off.
Yeah.
Sometimes the reaction from their circle isn't pure, like, yay, you, celebration.
Exactly. It can be subtle stuff, like maybe little jokes that kind of undermine what they're doing.
Or doubt, dressed up as concern. Are you sure you can keep that up? Or isn't that a bit risky?
Right. And the underlying feeling, often it's unconscious, can just be discomfort. Your success can sort of accidentally shine a spotlight on their inaction. It makes them feel, well, one source said, don't make us feel small.
Don't make us feel small.
Wow. That's pretty direct and a bit uncomfortable, honestly.
It is. But it explains why that resistance isn't always, active sabotage. Sometimes it's just group dynamics,
Yeah.
social stuff.
Okay. And that kind of links to another saying, right? The nail that sticks out gets hammered down.
Precisely. Think about that in like a work context. You're doing great, really exceeding expectations.
So it sounds like you're heading for a promotion, right?
Ideally, yeah. But sometimes in certain workplaces, maybe with insecure leadership, that high performance can actually be seen as a threat.
A threat just for being good at your job. It sounds weird, but yeah. It can lead to resentment, people feeling overshadowed, and in some cases, like the sources suggest, it could even lead to, well, negative consequences for the person doing well. Getting fired, even.
Whoa. Okay, so being really good, standing out,
Mm-hmm.
it could actually be risky in the wrong
Mhm.
situation.
Yeah.
That feels kind of backward.
The key thing here seems to be understanding the environment and the timing.
Right.
The world doesn't always just instantly reward brilliance or standing out. It connects back to our marked zebra, you see.
Making yourself different
Yeah.
too soon.
Yeah. Before the moment is right or before you're, let's say, strong enough to handle the attention it brings, you attract the wrong kind of focus.
Okay, so we've got crabs pulling us down if we try to climb out, and potentially a hammer waiting if we stick out too much.
Yeah.
It kind of sounds like the advice is just stay average. Blend in. That can't be it.
No, no, definitely not. It's more about being strategic, which leads to this idea of the power of, well, let's call it silent progress.
Silent progress. Okay.
Think about those really big goals you might have. Starting a business, maybe a major personal change, big career shift.
Mm-hmm.
What's the first thing we often want to do?
Tell people. Get excited. Share the news. Get some encouragement.
Totally. It feels good, right? To
Yeah.
talk about it, get that validation.
Yeah, that initial buzz.
And there's actually like a brain science thing here too. Talking about our goals can release dopamine.
Feel-good chemical.
Exactly, which can give us this like premature sense of accomplishment.
Yeah.
It almost tricks our brain into feeling like we've already done more than we have.
Huh. So talking about it gives us a little reward,
Mm.
which might make us less driven to actually do the tough stuff.
Yeah.
That's, wow.
It's a possibility, and maybe more relevant to our chat, loudly broadcasting everything you plan to do. Well, it can alert the crabs.
Right. And maybe the person with the hammer.
Yeah. It invites those doubts, that criticism, maybe before you're ready for it. And often, those reactions, they might come from the other person's own stuff, their fear of being left behind or feeling like they aren't doing enough.
Okay, that really does make sense. So what's the play then? Just keep everything locked up, secret agent style.
Uh-huh. Not quite. Think of it more like strategic discretion, operating quietly.
Right.
A lot of really effective people, the ones who achieve big things, they often tend to work quietly behind the scenes first.
Building momentum.
Yeah, building, training, getting results before the big reveal or the grand announcement.
Like building the foundation and the structure in private before you, like, cut the ribbon on the skyscraper.
That's a great analogy, exactly. When you're quiet about the early stages, you can make real progress without necessarily triggering all that resistance we talked about.
Fewer crabs grabbing at your ankles, less chance of attracting that unwanted attention before you're solid.
Right. You get things done without the interference.
So the main takeaway here isn't really about suppressing who you are or hiding your ambition forever.
Not at all.
It's more about being smart, strategic,
Hmm.
about when and how you choose to become visible.
Precisely. The world tells us be authentic, be you. Which is great, but it doesn't always reward standing out too early or too vulnerably.
Remember the zebra with the red mark?
Yeah. It's not about never standing out. It's about not making yourself the obvious, isolated target at the wrong time in the wrong place.
So be the zebra that blends with the herd while maybe quietly developing like an extra burst of speed
Mm-hmm.
or some unique strength,
Mm.
ready to break away when the moment is truly right, when you're ready.
That's a really powerful way to frame it, I think. It's about awareness. Be aware of the crab bucket, understand the risks of sticking out too soon, and really recognize the strength in focused, quiet work.
Cultivate your power in silence.
Yes. Be the storm behind the silence, the fire beneath the calm surface. And then when you are ready, your actions, your impact, that will speak volumes.
That's really insightful stuff. It's all about navigating the journey strategically.
Yeah.
Thanks, this has shed a different light on things.
My pleasure. Good chat.
Definitely. And for everyone listening, if you want more perspectives like this on navigating life and reaching your goals, make sure to follow for more wisdom.